Hello and welcome to Controller Chaos Episode 8. And some of you guys may remember in the past I've reviewed the Nintendo Wavebird controller. It's one of my favorite video game controllers of all time. I just love the Wavebird. But one of the things I always wondered is why did Sony never make an answer to the Wavebird? Well, actually it turns out they did. Eventually Sony made this controller called the Katana, but for whatever reason it just never took off like the Wavebird did. And I've always wondered why, though. Why didn't the Katana become a mainstay controller like the Wavebird? Well, I think I may have an answer to it. Why? Well, I'll explain. Now, the Katana, just like the Wavebird before it, almost identically mirrors the PS2 controller, but there are a couple differences. For starters, the D-pad, instead of being broken up, is one giant piece of plastic, and I actually really prefer this change. It's more comfortable and it just feels better made than the PS2 D-pad. The other change is, well, the Katana has ridges on the back of the controller, which is pretty good because it means you can, well, hold the controller pretty tightly, and I actually really like these ridges. It makes the controller more comfortably. And of course, well, it takes batteries. It also has a vibration mode, which means, well, it'll vibrate the controller. So design-wise, the Katana looks like a great controller. Now, the first game I tested with this controller is Persona 3, and the reason why I tested Persona 3 is because I wanted to, well, test out the battery life of the controller, and I can safely say the battery life on this controller is fantastic because I put nearly 30 hours into this game on the same pair of batteries, and the game is still playing with the controller. So the battery life for the Katana is pretty spectacular, you guys. I figured next up I would attempt to do a lag test, so I played some Street Fighter Alpha 3. And as you guys could probably tell from the footage, I'm a pro Street Fighter Alpha 3 player. And well, I didn't notice a lot of input lag or anything crazy. I mean, I'm not particularly good at the game, so perhaps this isn't the best game for me to test this controller with, but I didn't notice any input lag with this controller. So finally, to find out how much input lag was with this controller, I decided I'd use it on a game I'm incredibly familiar with, and well, Crash Bandicoot 2 I know like the back of my hand. So I feel very comfortable in saying there is a little bit of lag in this controller. Not a lot, not enough to the point to where I'd say it's a detriment of the controller, just expect a little bit of input lag with this controller. But to be fair, that's kind of to be expected with a wireless controller. There's always lag with these things, no matter what you do to them. Now, I think the Katana is a great controller, and I definitely think you should add one to your video game collection. But the biggest question that I've always had is, why did it never gain the popularity of the Wavebird? And I think the answer toward that would be availability. You see, the Katana was only released in Japan and North America, and not in Europe, at least not from the research I found. And you see, it had to have a very small release in North America because, well, I don't ever remember seeing it on store shelves, and if I did, I definitely would have bought one because, well, I love the Wavebird, and I've always wanted a wireless PS2 controller. So I think it had a very limited release in North America, so the only real way to get one of these things is to import it. Or nowadays, buy it off eBay, and buying it off eBay isn't cheap. I got mine for $35, which is way more than what you would normally spend on a PS2 controller. I mean, the average PS2 controller goes for like $5, I think. But I think that this controller is worth it, you guys. It's a very responsive, doesn't time out connection wireless controller from this era that I think honestly stands with the Wavebird as the best controller of this era. So if you see a Katana PS2 controller, I highly recommend it. It's a great controller. And overall, you guys, pick one up. So that was Controller Chaos Episode 8. What did you guys think? Do you like the Katana? Do you hate it? Be sure to let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe and be sure to like this video. Have a wonderful day, YouTube, and peace.